Welcome to Life Without Limits. I'm your host, James Garcia. Life Without Limits is the podcast for United Cerebral Palsy's national network. And as we have been doing for a few months now, we've been conducting a series of interviews with our CEOs and executive directors. And today we have Doug Bergman, the president and CEO of United Cerebral Palsy of Sacramento and Northern California. And we're going to talk to him about his affiliate, his career, his outlook on leadership and running his organization and what it all means in terms of the big picture with regards to disability advocacy organizations and the United Cerebral Palsy Network. Doug, I want to thank you so much for being with us today.
Glad to be here today.
Doug, let's just start with how you came to be in the position that you're in. I believe you're kind of approaching about 18, 19 years, correct me wherever I'm wrong, and that you came out of the corporate world. Talk about how you transitioned from that previous career into this world and how you came to be in this position.
Sure. So I worked for ConocoPhillips for 15 years. During that time with ConocoPhillips, UCP was their charity of choice on a national level and a local level. I was based in Phoenix at the time, and that's where I became really acquainted with UCP. In volunteering, we are all required and asked to volunteer part of our time back to the charity. So most of my time was spent help organizing a fairly large golf tournament in Phoenix annually. And
on behalf of United Cerebral Palsy of Central Arizona, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. And what was your job, by the way, at ConocoPhillips?
Oh boy, I started out as a district manager and then moved up to a sales manager position. And then shortly after that, actually, I got promoted and moved to Sacramento to where I am today. And I've been in Sacramento now since 1996 and is promoted to general manager or vice president of Northern California.
And how long were you with ConocoPhillips?
A total of 15 years, 9 years here in Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now what triggered that decision? I mean, what was it that made you decide to move? I understand you were a former board member of that affiliate there. But
Right.
what was it that said to you on a personal or professional level that it's time for me to do something new and this is the avenue I'm going to take?
Well, really, at the end of the day, get down to family. So I was asked to move to Houston, Texas in 2006 for another opportunity there, which was a wonderful opportunity. But 2 years after that, it was unknown where I was actually going to end up. But I was raising three kids, three different schools, and my wife and I spoke about really what's best for the kids and the family. So I actually turned that promotion down and left the company. And four other opportunities came up. UCP, Shell Oil Company came up, Bank of America, and Mrs. Fields Cookies, which I think we all know about Mrs. Fields Cookies. So
Yeah, quite a diverse array of job opportunities there.
it really was.
What
And
made you decide you wanted to be in the nonprofit and
yeah.
specifically this world, the disability advocacy and rights world?
Yeah, go back even taking a couple steps back. I have an older brother who had a son with a developmental disability. So he lives in Virginia. He was in the Navy for many, many years, and so I wasn't really close to him because he was moving around the world. So I never got really a chance to see him and his struggles, probably, and his wife's when they were trying to raise Matthew. But I've got the opportunity to got a little older, spend more time with him and his family. So that's what really got me started, to tell you the truth.
And what was
And
Matthew's disability? I'm sorry.
he had a dual diagnosis of cerebral palsy and multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, and so and was that your
Yeah,
first real-time kind of
it
exposure
was.
to?
Yeah. And I tell you the truth, James, I really didn't understand it back then. I was young and didn't fathom the whole concept of the developmental disability piece and how of a struggle that could be for parents. And we all know it is a struggle for parents. So when the opportunity came up, you're correct. I was on the board of directors here in Sacramento for 9 years, and I saw an opportunity. I think that I could use my business acumen with ConocoPhillips and help the organization become more proficient and efficient in many ways. And so I thought that was the best fit for me professionally, and is definitely the best fit for me personally, for my family and I to stay here in Sacramento.
Yeah, yeah, and your point about not knowing about the disability world or what it entails for families is well taken.
Right.
I married my wife 25 years ago and met her mother, who has had MS since
Uh-huh.
she was a teenager, and she's now 83.
Well,
And we care for her in the home, and she does remarkably well. But it's not until you're in a house with someone and know
right.
what they have to deal with day to day that you realize, oh, these are the struggles that they face.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. What about your organization, the affiliates? As I mentioned before we came on the air, all of our affiliates have certainly a lot in common and a lot of overlap, but they're also very distinct and have their own specializations in many ways. Let's talk about the programs that are at your affiliate.
Yeah, so we really got four different divisions here in the affiliate. We got a day programs, respite division, a day program division, transportation division, and a recreation division. So those are our four big emphases here, and we've been doing respite for over 50 years here in Sacramento, transportation for over 30 years, and day programs as well for a long period of time. So we're very good at what we do here. We've been doing it for a long time, but we always have our challenges, as everybody does as well. But we've taken what we do best here and try to grow it organically. Our recreation division is one of our newest divisions, only like 3 years old.
Hmm.
So we are building on that, and that was the need for the community. I mean, we listen to what the community needs are, working with our provider here in the Alta Regional Center, and they get requests from families, and we get requests from families. So it's really the goal is for the both of us to work together, Regional Center and UCP, to come up with programs and services, that meet the community needs.
Let's take those just briefly, one at a time. Respite,
Mhm.
obviously, you're providing services for families, maybe going
Yep.
into their homes, giving them some time off from the kind of work that they have to do and the challenges of caring for someone day in and day out. Transportation, you have a fleet of vehicles, as I understand. What is that program about?
Yeah, so we have a fleet of 60 vehicles. So these vehicles will transport clients to and from the program on a regular basis, daily basis. So we're out at 5:45 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning on our routes. And sometimes our programs, a couple of our programs start at 7:30 or 8. One starts at 9:15. So there's quite a bit of scheduling that needs to be done in the morning, and same thing, in the afternoon. So
Mhm. For the
yeah.
audience, where do you take them? I mean, where are they going? Are they going to?
Yeah, we are primarily here in the Sacramento geographical area. We have 5 counties we serve here, but they are going to UCP day programs
Okay.
throughout the day, and we've got about 330 clients in our 7 programs that we transport every day. But we also transport for other organizations as well too, that have services here in Sacramento other than UCP. So we're not specifically UCP service. We work with all groups here in the Sacramento area that need transportation for their clients.
And the recreation program, you're saying this is the newest. What does that entail?
A lot. Recently, just this past weekend, I didn't go, but there's a group of folks in our recreation department, I think 8 or 10, actually went to Monterey this weekend for scuba diving. So there was a pretty cool event. I saw some pictures already over the weekend, but we do events again, what our clients want to do. So we do bowling, we do roller skating, we do kayaking, and we just had whitewater rafting the other day, last weekend, I believe. So it's an all-inclusive event, and we're actually including families that are not part of the Alta Regional Center, that want to go out and do these events as well too. So we're again trying to really reach out to the community and give back to the community, with the clients and with the families, are hoping that their child can do or adult can do, what everybody else, is able to do as well. So
Is that something when you say it's relatively new, through your
yeah.
is it because families over the years have become and people with disabilities that you serve and support have become more independent and so they're more interested in these kinds of things like as a group going scuba diving?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Be honest with you, James, it gets down to funding as well too. These trips to do these events, somebody at the end of the day has to pay for these events to happen. So the regional center has now helped develop these programs with cost codes, that we can charge the regional center back to take these clients to Monterey or to whitewater rafting or whatever. So, but we do a lot of this on our own dime as well too. It's not 100% funded, but we just want to try to do what those clients and what those parents are asking us to do. And you hit it on the head earlier, when we take the clients to Monterey for the weekend, that the parents then have a weekend to themselves, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
so it's a great win-win for the client and for the parents. Wow, when's the last time they had a weekend to themselves to go do something that they want to do and feel safe that their kids and children are being well taken care of.
Yeah, yeah, I know my wife and I are always gleeful when we can corral one of our nieces or
Yeah.
daughters to come and, and take care of their grandma. You mentioned a couple of times the regional center. Is that formally part of the affiliate or is that a separate entity?
That's there's a here in California, there's a Lanham Act that was passed back in 1969, believe it or not, a long
Okay.
time ago. And that Lanham Act set up funding, regional center fundings, offices throughout the state of California, and it comes through taxpayers' taxes that fund these regional centers. So anybody with a developmental disability in California can get services. So it's a process they have to go through the regional center to become a client of the regional center, and then UCP actually provides particular services, once those are determined through the regional centers.
My understanding is that California, New York, a couple of other
Mhm.
states are in many ways sort of well ahead of the rest of the
Yes.
nation in terms of the variety and the diversity of services that they offer. How do you feel like California compares as you've traveled around the country and sort of
Yeah, no, I think California's right at the top. I mean, you mentioned New York's a great state. Florida is a great state, as far as folks, families that have child or with developmental disability. And a lot of people move to California and to those states just so they can get services for their son or daughter.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't realize that. Yeah,
Yeah,
people
so
relocate. Yeah.
yeah, that's why we have, I think we're close to 400,000 individuals in the state of California with developmental disabilities that the regional center actually manages, I guess is a good way to put it,
Hmm.
on a daily basis, because, they're ensuring that their clients get the programs and services that need, and that includes transportation, recreation, respite, whatever it might be, day programs, that they get the right fit.
Yeah. Let me jump back one quick moment with regards to your transition from kind of the corporate world and a more formal, kind of for-profit corporate world background to this. What has
Right.
translated for you from that career to this over these years now that you've been with UCP in Sacramento?
I think the transition is, for me personally, is that I didn't realize there was so much need out in the community. When I was on the board of directors, you kind of get the 30,000 foot, view of the organization.
Okay.
And, when you're the CEO, you're at sea level, every day.
Yeah.
And I guess the other piece is that there's so much more we need to do as a community to ensure the community is aware of the work that nonprofits do and aware that these individuals want to be just like everybody. They want to have a job. They want to, if they can, they want to get married and they want to participate in the community. They don't want to be looked upon as a burden. So dignity is I guess, a big piece that's come out of the transition for me, is the dignity level that we try to ensure every day that our clients feel that. And so when they go out in the community, they're respected and not looked down upon as a burden, that it's dignity. And, we're like you, we're just a little different, but we are just like you. We live, we breathe, we open our eyes, we blink, just
As families.
just like everybody else does, and you need to accept us as who we are, but we're a body, we're a soul, and we may not function just exactly like the typically developing person does, but we want to be piece of this, and we're part of this community as well too.
Yeah, it's been something like 50 years, I think, since the Rehabilitation Act, more than 50 years, maybe, and more than 30 years since the Americans with Disability Act was passed.
Yes.
And do you find through your career now that the visibility and the inclusivity is actually more real for people with disabilities than it used to be? I mean, I think the answer perhaps is
Yeah.
obviously yes, but how much
Yeah.
more visible are they and more?
Yeah. Yeah. I think over the last 30 years, you're absolutely right. I see more respect for folks with developmental disabilities, out in the community. I don't see people so much afraid of people with developmental disabilities
Mhm,
out in the
mhm. Or just
community,
looking away, right? That
Yeah, yeah, like the look away, or see, I do see some inclusion coming together over the past 30 years for sure. And I see more and more of it every day. I think it's great. The more and more we get them out in the community, the better the inclusion, at the end of the day too. So that's a big piece of our affiliate, and I'm sure it is with all the other UCP affiliates as well too, that, we need to continue to push inclusion and have people that are out in the community understand the work that we do and what we're trying to do for a client to teach them life skills, that they may participate in the community as well too.
Now, I know that some of our affiliates, I just had an interview with Colleen Crispino out of Long Island, UCP of Long Island, and she
Mhm.
spoke about a really active self-advocacy group of self-advocates, 40 or so people that are
Mhm.
affiliated with their UCP affiliate, and the connectivity between that group and a really active self-advocacy initiative in New York State. How does it compare in California? I mean, are self-advocates part of the environment, if you will, of your community?
Yeah, we have an agreement with the ARC of California. We do a lot of policy work with them. We are out in the communities and just down at the Capitol earlier this month. We had a big day at the Capitol to express our concerns, about the budget process, which, it seems like every year we're always short in California.
Yeah, yeah.
And, they want to
It's
cut
always a
program.
battle. Always a
Yeah,
battle.
yeah. And programs and services for folks with developmental disabilities seem like it's always the first thing that gets cut. So yeah, so we're very active in the state of California. We rally when we need to down at the Capitol or down in LA or San Diego, wherever it might be, just for people to see and government officials to see that, we do have a big voice in the state of California. And you know what? We have a lot of voters, 400,000, there's a lot of people that vote, in that group as well too. So, but
People
yeah,
with
the advocate.
disabilities advocating on their own behalf.
Yes,
Has that
yes.
become a bigger portion of the advocacy work overall? Have you seen that mature over the years?
Yes. Yes, yes, definitely have. So, we got some pretty smart cookies, in our group that we work with, the developmental disability group, and there's some pretty sharp people, and they're the first to come to us and say, we need to get down the Capitol or we need to get here or there. So, they really do push the agenda as well, which I think is just wonderful that they realize that, and we're here to support them as well too.
hmm Where does your organization stand in terms of goals for the future? But when you think about, I'd like to see this organization be doing such and such in the next 3 to 5 years or beyond, where are you headed?
Yeah, yeah. So we, have four staples: communicate, serve, grow, and sustain. So growth and sustainability are always on my mind of we got to grow, but how are we going to sustain that growth at the end of the day, right? So it's great to start programs and services, but there's not a funding mechanism there, then, it's not such a good start. And it'll end probably fairly quickly as well too. So, but as an organization, what happens in Sacramento, and Sacramento is a growing community. There's a lot of people moving to Sacramento, especially from San Francisco now. So we are seeing expanded needs here in the Sacramento community. So we got to kind of pick and choose a little bit. But right now, we want to build out our transportation division. We need a bigger yard, bigger space. We're going to still acquire more vehicles, in the future. But James, that's probably an $8 million project,
Hmm.
to do something like that. So this is something we can't take lightly, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it right, and have to go out and do a capital campaign, use some of funds that UCP's accumulated over the years, help pay for this initiative. So, but that in respite probably are our two big focus areas over the next couple of years to continue to expand respite. And here at UCP. We have a software program called Respite Track that has really helped with our efficiencies to be able to eliminate a lot of debt and to keep scheduling and timekeeping in check, because before I came here, it was all pencil and paper and it was a mess, a disaster. So,
Hmm.
so our efficiencies in that have helped us grow from about 350 families to we're serving over 2,100 families today. So we need to continue to be efficient and embrace technology more than what we're doing now. But I see that's another big piece, is embracing technology over the next 3 to 5 years as well too.
Yeah. Now, I know that so many of the affiliates and agencies like UCP affiliates across the country,
Mhm.
people all took a hit during the pandemic. Has
Yeah.
your organization bounced back completely in terms of the number of people it serves, that sort of thing, since the pandemic ended?
No, not yet. We had a height of 930 team members prior to the pandemic. And through the pandemic, we dropped to 702. And right now we're back up to about 864, 865. So we're
Employees,
getting,
you mean your
yeah,
employees,
employees,
right?
yeah. So we're getting back I think it's still going to be another 6 months probably before we get back to the 930 number, but got to have team members to serve our client. If we don't have
Yes.
people working for us, we can't have clients in our program. We have ratios to meet. And in our respite department, we have clients that need services, but we don't have people,
Yes.
to go serve them today. So,
Mhm.
so we're getting close, but no, we're not back to where we were prior to the levels of COVID.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that there are something like 500,000 people around the country with developmental disabilities who are on waiting lists for
Right.
services, who need services,
Yeah.
and very often it seems like, as you've just noted, the biggest obstacle is there's not enough people to take care of them in the
That's right.
jobs that need to be filled. So if you're out there listening to this, this may be an avenue for you and a career for you if you care about these issues and
Right.
leadership.
Mhm.
When you do your job, when you sort of say to yourself, this is what I've learned about doing this job, what are
Yeah.
the leadership techniques that you apply that work for you?
Coming into the role, James, I never held a position here at UCP, was never a DSP, a transportation driver, a respite worker. So, I had to trust management and find great people that knew the business that we could all work together. And I'm pretty autonomous manager. Don't like to get into business, but I will if I need to, obviously. Finding great people that know the business and know our different divisions and how they work. And I took over a pretty good staff, to tell you the truth. I didn't rebuild anything when I came here, but I have lost a couple people along the way due to retirement.
Mm.
And, trying to find those individuals to replace 35 years of experience is not an easy thing to do.
People hold jobs at UCP affiliates
They
for
do,
a long
yeah,
time. I mean,
long
I've
time,
noticed
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here 18 years and I was on the board for 9 years. I started working as a volunteer in 92. So I don't know how many years that is. That's like 32 years,
Yeah.
that I've been affiliated with UCP. So, but
Not that unusual. And I've
yeah,
spoken to CEOs and executive directors who have been in the
yeah,
job 30, 35 years easily. In the job, CEO, right?
in
Not
the job. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. Pretty impressive.
But yeah, so you just got to find people who want to work hard. We all want to, we all respect each other. We all want to do the right thing. And we want to just make sure at the end of the day, we do something. How's it going to affect the clients? That's the first thing we always come back through is this going to help our clients? Is this going to hurt our clients? What's this mean to our clients at the end of the day? So we're all focused on our clients and what's best for them.
Doug Bergman is the president and CEO of United Cerebral Palsy of Sacramento in Northern California. Doug, I want to thank you so much for taking some time to talk about your organization and how you do your job and where your organization is going from here.
Thank you, James. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.